This is PRIME7 Local News with Madelaine Colligion and Carl Linders, and Ellie Wicks with your local weather forecast.
Tonight, the rain system delivers, swamping parts of the region with falls up to 100 millimetres. Water restrictions to ease for the Tamworth region with huge inflows to Chaffey Dam.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, the virus escapes our hotel quarantine system, so who managed to catch it? And a Victorian teenager tests positive after visiting the northern beaches.
Now, PRIME7 Local News.
Good evening. Low-lying areas across the Tamworth region were underwater today after falls of 100 millimetres and more overnight. Emergency services received over 70 calls for help from people caught up in the deluge.
Roads flooded, early morning traffic brought to a crawl. Overnight brought heavy rain. The Tamworth region saw some of the biggest falls. There was minor flooding in low-lying areas, with waterways overflowing. SES crews answered calls for help.
There was about over 75 jobs across the New England Northwest up until now that they have been responding to, and there's still a few jobs still outstanding that they're getting to.
More than 120 millimetres of rain was recorded at Callala. Moore Creek, close to 100. Manila, over 90. Tamworth Regional Council closed nearly 20 flood-prone roads as emergency services sprung into action.
It was around 2 o'clock when the initial call came in for assistance. From then there was a steady flow of requests, and that meant we activated more and more of our brigades.
There are a lot of houses that had some localised flooding into their premises, whether it be garages or rear premises.
Today, those houses were left with the cleanup.
I could hear a flood of water just gushing past my bedroom window, and got out, opened the front door, and I had water lapping at my front doorstep.
This family forced to watch on as rain swamped parts of their home, now calling on council to stop it from happening again.
We're up high, it's coming off stormwater council land, so we need to get some support there with how that gets fixed going forward.
There's currently a minor flood warning in place for the Peel River at Tamworth Road Bridge that's expected to peak at 6 p.m, with possible flooding in the Drury Street car park.
And Liam Tapper is in Tamworth for us tonight. And Liam, there's still plenty of water lying around.
Maddie, there are still a number of major roads closed here due to the sheer volume of water that has fallen over the past 24 hours. Bergman's Lane, Daruka Road and Davidson's Lane all remain closed, while O'Brien's Lane, which was covered in water earlier today, is now open. Tamworth Regional Council is continuing to monitor the situation and will begin to open roadways once the water subsides. Updates posted to their Facebook page.
Even 10 or 15 millimetres of rain in a certain location could potentially bring a creek back up again and need a response.
The SES this afternoon has updated the flood warning for Tamworth to moderate flooding, and it's set to peak at 6 p.m. There's also a minor flood warning in place for the Gwydir River at Pallamallawar and Gravesend.
Thanks for the update, Liam. Liam Tapper there for us tonight from Tamworth. After the good rain, residents in Tamworth, Moonbee and Katingal are once again in line for water restrictions to ease. Chaffey Dam has already passed the trigger point for level 2 water restrictions, but Tamworth Regional Council is holding off making a decision.
In the right place at the right time. This is an early Christmas present we all needed. Rain finally making its way into the catchment, some 92 millimetres and counting. Pushing above 35%, the point for level 2 restrictions to be introduced. But Tamworth Regional Council is hoping to hit 40.
Which would be the trigger for level 1 restrictions. So what we're proposing to do is we're not going to change the present level 3 restrictions.
Instead, Council will hold off on a decision until early next week. Among some of the incoming changes, sprinklers will be allowed, time limits for filling pools quashed, and you'll also be allowed to wash your car. This is a big step forward. However, there's still a long road to recovery.
So in the south now, storage is 80-90%. In the central regions of the inland, 40 to 60%. But our northern storage is still quite low.
Upstream of the Peel River, things have remained stubbornly dry for months, but there's hope we're now on to greener pastures. We haven't seen Chaffey Dam at this level since the 7th of January 2019, and after 2 years of living on some of the toughest water restrictions, the end is getting closer.
It's a great start, and we hopefully this is just the start of further rain over January and February, and we do see the dam recovering to as high as it possibly can get.
Hot weather is the only thing that could rain on this parade, but with the La Niña well and truly here, more rain could be just around the corner.
And on a wet catchment, however briefly, that might generate some more inflows.
Charlton Hart, PRIME7 News.
And Charlton Hart joins us now. And Charlton, despite the inflows to Chaffey Dam, it still has an algae problem.
At this stage, yes, Maddie, a red alert issued for blue-green algae is unlikely to be lifted in time for Christmas this weekend. Water New South Wales has taken samples from the storage on the 15th of December, just 7 days ago, but is still waiting for those results to be returned. That means, in the meantime, we're being strongly advised not to fish, swim or do any recreational activities at the storage. We're also being advised to avoid any contact with the water. Maddie?
Thanks, Charlton. Charlton Hart there for us tonight from Tamworth. Well, it's time now for a quick check of the weather with Kirsty Fitzpatrick. And Kirsty, huge amounts of rain last night, not quite as much today, obviously.
Yeah, that's right, Maddie. It was a bit crazy overnight. Well, good evening, everyone. It's been a very unsettled 24 hours with plenty of rainfall. As we've heard, some flood warnings are in place. Now, Tamworth has recorded 92 millimetres of rain in the last 24 hours, while Weewar recorded 76 mil. Now, our temperatures remain mild, reaching just 22, the top in Tamworth today. Corindai, only 21 degrees. Inverell, 19 to 22, so really not that much difference between our overnight lows and our maximums for today, but our temperatures still remained really quite below average for this time of year. 24, the top in Narrabri, which is about 10 degrees below average. Tomorrow is looking clearer though. Maddie, I'll have those details coming up after
And
sport.
the Christmas forecast, I hear.
That's right.
Not long to go. Thanks, Kirsty. See you later. Regional New South Wales is being urged to remain on high alert as Sydney's COVID outbreak grows. Residents with any symptoms are being told to get tested as soon as possible.
Sydney's Northern Beaches outbreak, triggering a push for people to get tested in the lead up to Christmas.
Still come and get tested, and until then just isolate or until you're better.
New South Wales recorded 44,000 COVID tests in the past 24 hours. The highest number of daily tests so far. Hunter New England Health recorded 370 virus tests in Tamworth for the week ending the 20th of December, while Armidale recorded 189 tests that week. Residents responding to the health advice to help keep the region safe.
I think it's a responsible and correct thing to do, to make sure we test to see where the virus is, if it's here.
Just to check up. That was all. I've got no suspicions about anything, but it was here.
It's because I was in Sydney. I had to get done.
With Christmas fast approaching, it is more important than ever to get tested.
We need to be alert. If we have symptoms or if anybody comes to our house who has symptoms, we need to ask them to get tested. And really importantly, we need them to isolate until they enjoy the festivities of Christmas with other people.
People are continuing to come through Tamworth's drive-through clinic. The message being heard loud and clear that if you have even the mildest of symptoms, to come forward for testing to ensure Sydney's outbreak doesn't spread to regional New South Wales.
So it was a bit quiet until the Sydney outbreak, and then we had 77 on Saturday, and then we got up to over 180 yesterday.
And the Premier's message to anyone who visited Sydney's hotspots.
So if you left on the 10th or 11th of December and you went to a regional community or you went to another part of Sydney where you're staying with a friend or a relative, you have to assume that you are living in your home on the Northern Beaches and make sure you are not leaving the home unless it's for those essential reasons.
Georgie Dickerson, PRIME7 News.
Accommodation providers are having to make some tough calls, deciding if they should take bookings from Sydney and surrounding areas. The latest advice is to delay non-essential travel in a bid to prevent the Northern Beaches outbreak spreading to regional New South Wales.
At a time where every booking is precious, the latest COVID outbreak in Sydney, followed by restrictions on surrounding state borders, has travellers worried. The last 48 hours has seen cancellations coming through, people from Sydney and surrounding areas choosing not to hit the road.
I also think people are worried about what the next step might look like and if they're going to get trapped somewhere and not be able to make it home.
But local operators are also taking a proactive approach, cancelling bookings if tourists are from a current hotspot. A Facebook post from Gunnaganoo Station is urging customers from Sydney's northern beaches to reschedule or cancel any upcoming bookings. Accommodation providers such as the Central Hospitality Group and City Lights Caravan Park putting customers through a strict check-in process.
Okay, where are you travelling from?
It's a tough decision to make, turning potential customers away, but accidentally bringing a COVID case to town could be even worse for business.
Well, that's our shot ducks for a couple of weeks at least.
Operators say it's a small price to pay at the moment. They want to see things running smoothly come the typically busier tourist time later in January.
That is a big chunk of their annual profit. So we really do hope that some tourism comes to the area during that time.
No, we don't want a case up here at all. We don't. It's just going to spoil everything for everybody.
Further decisions will be made from tomorrow when Premier Gladys Berejiklian is expected to announce the next step on the Northern Beaches outbreak. Shannon McDonald, PRIME7 News.
Police are appealing for information over drive-by shootings in Boggabilla last month. On the afternoon of the 23rd of November, shots were allegedly fired from a white Mitsubishi Magna into homes and cars throughout the town. They're asking for anyone who might have dash cam footage to contact Boggabilla Police or Crime Stoppers. One of the best amateur astronomy facilities in the country is now ready for action. It's hoped the Astronomy and Science Centre will inspire the next generation of astronomers and put Tamworth on the space map.
A space set to take people out of this world. The Tamworth Regional Astronomy and Science Centre handed over to its gatekeepers.
As far as we can work out, this is probably the only facility like it in Australia.
Tamworth Regional Astronomy Club's newest headquarters, worth more than $2 million in state and local funding. It's a fair price for a club which boasts some of the largest amateur telescopes in Australia. The centre and its facilities, the region's latest tourism drawcard.
People will, right across the region, the state and internationally, will be able to enjoy this facility.
Up next, the completion of the observatory and planetarium funded through the federal government. As for the club, they're getting straight to work, an international project called Argus 2, coordinated through the UK Ministry of Defence.
Project, we're arranging satellites that are spinning around at about 36,000 kilometres up. I think it's equivalent to air traffic control in space, I guess.
The club determined to discover a piece of history from far away, maybe even alien life.
There's got to be some out there. Yeah, just the statistics, I think, the way it's looking now, it's got to be someone out there.
The facility will be open to the public early next year. Shannon McDonald, PRIME7 News.
Still to come in PRIME7 local news, Aussie Ark expands its wildlife refuge in the Barrington Tops and keeping your pets safe from ticks. The paralysis tick can have potentially fatal consequences for animals. Usually not seen across the northwest, they have once again reared their head.
They're the tiny insect that can leave a huge impact on our pets. Rare west of the Great Dividing Range, the paralysis tick has returned to the region, an unusual situation facing animal experts.
We in our clinic might see one a year, whereas when I've worked in the past on the coast itself, it's common to see 4 or 5 in a day.
Temperatures across the northwest are generally too hot for the tick. Nyangla on the northern tableland's the one exception. Animals who suffer are mostly returned travellers from beach holidays.
All the cases we invariably see in Tamworth are animals which have gone over to the coast for a weekend or a holiday. They pick the tick up there and then they come back home and then become sick once they come home.
If they don't remember to use some sort of tick preventative, then that's when we see the tick paralysis cases come in.
With school holidays underway and the Christmas break just around the corner, holidaymakers are being urged to do the right thing with their furry friends before they hit the road. A recent case of tick paralysis in Tamworth has pet owners on alert. Summer holidays may look a little different if we want to keep the insects out.
If you're going into an area that you know is a high-risk area, then you may consider leaving your dog at home.
Animal experts recommend consulting your vet for the full range of tick prevention products available. Liam Tapper, PRIME7 News.
Aussie Ark has purchased 250 hectares of land near its current site in the Barrington Tops to expand the wildlife refuge. The conservation organisation will now develop additional sanctuaries to help protect some of the most vulnerable native species. Aussie Ark helps native ecosystems evolve naturally without the threat of predators.
It's at an elevation of about 500 to 800 metres above sea level along the eastern ranges, which mean it's a real bio hotspot. And not only do we benefit the habitat and wildlife that already call it home, but we're able to do what we do and rewild animals that are now locally absent or extinct.
The purchase was made partly possible by a fundraising campaign. There is good news for Elvis fans struggling to come to terms with the cancellation of the park's Elvis Festival. A number of online events will be run in January to mark the King of Rock's birthday. Festival organisers will be releasing videos of highlights from previous years so fans can get all shook up in their lounge rooms. And for the Elvi Among Us, an online tribute to Elvis competition will also be taking place.
From Australia and New Zealand, we've had a few that have entered in the undiscovered category, which is really exciting because so many people launch their careers on our ARTC main stage.
Submissions to the tribute to Elvis and Elvis Unplugged competitions close on the 30th of December, so get in quick. Still to come in PRIME7 local news, Tamworth karting looks to a brighter 2021 and fishermen hoping good rain will give their catches a boost.
The Murray cod season is well underway with keen anglers hitting the water to try and catch the big one. Although things are off to a slow start, it's hoped recent rain will liven things up.
The first month of the Murray cod season has opened with a heat wave followed by days of rain. Two extremes that have been tough for anglers, but even tougher when you're going home empty-handed.
None of our members have actually caught any yet, caught a heap of yellow belly, but a few of the locals that we know have been up at the dam have been catching a few.
But for a season that stretches 10 months till November next year, there's plenty of time for those dreaming of snagging the big one. Chaffey Dam and Lake keep it at the pick of the bunch for the South Tamworth Bolo Fishing Club. But after recent downpours, they're even pulling fish out of the Peel River, an opportunity we can all take up.
Good, very good pan-size yellow belly and some good cod, probably up around the 500, 600.
It's a sport that takes a lot of dedication and a lot more patience, but it's all worthwhile when you reel in a catch. There's now more of a chance than ever with our waterways bouncing back to life.
Get this nice drop of water into the dam up there and a bit more rain. I think school holidays you'll see a lot of people up there and lots of boats on the water and hopefully some good fish caught.
Charlton Hart, PRIME7 News.
Tamworth Karting Club's getting the jump on a new year, releasing its calendar of meets for 2021. The flagship event will be the heats of the Tekka Endurance Race, a 10-hour race which will be held over the 7th and 8th of August. The club says it's hoping to welcome some of the best drivers in the country to the track.
Our track's, definitely suited to it as well. It's a nice big open track. We've got a new cement slab going down for the refuelling that for them too to make it easier.
Even though COVID-19 put a halt to racing for 4 months this year, the club's membership has grown with drivers itching to hit the road in 2021. And still to come in PRIME7 News, Kirsty is back with your local weather forecast.
Good evening again, everyone. Well, as we head towards the middle of the Christmas week, we're in for some more settled weather across our state. A low pressure system in our south will start to move further east, making way for a ridge of high pressure, which should bring mostly dry, clear skies and warmer temperatures. By Friday, we could see some scattered showers developing along the coast, and those showers could move further inland across the weekend, affecting some of our southern regions. But it is really the east of the state that will expect the bulk of the rainfall over the next 8 days. Our coastal region regions could see anywhere between 50 and 100 millimetres of rain between now and mid-next week. Our central areas could get some scattered showers as well. Tomorrow will start to become more settled with the rain easing. Mostly clear skies with a light southwesterly breeze. The high 20s for most of us. 27 in Gunnedah, 27 degrees in Corindai and 27 in Tamworth as well, I should say. Moree also heading for a top of 27 degrees and similar conditions in Wee Waa as well. Now the cloud cover will move through for our Christmas Eve, so we could be quite overcast, but our temperatures will be remaining quite mild once again. 27 in Tamworth, 28 the top in Walgett, 22 for Armidale and 7 to 17 in the Barrington tops. Having a look now at our all-important Christmas Day forecast, we will have some areas of unsettled weather. The northwest slopes is looking mostly fine in the high 20s and low 30s with partly cloudy conditions for some of us, but it will be our eastern regions where we could see some showers and the chance of storms. We will be looking mild though, 28 degrees the top in Scone on Christmas Day. Looking ahead now, it looks as though some of this wet weather will continue into Boxing Day and beyond. We could see some storms, not a huge amount of rainfall though, Maddie, not really until we hit Tuesday next week or Monday, so could have a little bit of unsettled weather around after Christmas, but more on that next week.
What a great Christmas present, sunny and 30. Can't
That's
complain
right.
about that one.
That's right.
Thanks, see you later. And that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. Join the debate on your local issues on our Facebook page. Right now though, PRIME7 News at 6:30 with Daniel Gibson with the latest on the spread of COVID-19 throughout Sydney.